Alright guys, into this quick video I'm showing you how to use the brush tool in Photoshop. So I'm creating a new document, so by pressing Ctrl N. So with 1000 pixel, 1000 pixel resolution, you can go on 72. Here I'm on 96 in RGB color synthesis, white background or whatever background here. And I'm clicking on create. So here we go. The shortcut to use the brush tool is B, like brush, and I'm going to show you some different kind of setting in order to manage it. Keep in mind that this is one of the most powerful tool in the digital creation, regardless of you're erasing, use the sampler tool, or just painting, you would use the same brush option. So let's talk about the fundamental, the size, and the hardness. Okay, so let's create a new layer by clicking here or just pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus N, and then you're going to be able to see normally your brush here. So the first thing, if you're on Windows or Mac, you can hold Alt and hold your right click. You're going to see this red dot. If I'm dragging this to the right, you're going to make it bigger. If you're dragging this to the left, you're going to make it smaller. Now with the hardness, if you go to the bottom, you're going to make it harder, and if you go to the top, you're going to make it smoother. Okay, so that's allowing you to do some stuff like this. First, let's try to put across. You can as low right click and set the size and the hardness just right here. So for the moment we are going to go with 20 pixel and a hardness of 100%. Let's set up the colors in black. So the first step is just to click, Alt Shift, go to the bottom. So now I'm not clicking on nothing, and you Alt Shift and then you just right click. So as you can see, this is another trick. You can do some straight line. I'm going to do the same here. Okay, so just to have a tiny cross to show you different elements. So now I'm going to show you. If I'm going that way, so it means that if I'm clicking from here, holding my right click and Alt, if I'm going to the left, you can see that it's smaller. And now if I'm going to the bottom, it doesn't change nothing because the hardness is already at 100. Now if I'm clicking here, you can see that it's tiny and it's really hard. So now if I'm doing the same stuff, but holding Alt and going to top, you can see that it's going to be more smooth here. Let's do the same by holding Alt and shifting, dragging my mouse to the right. So now it's bigger, so you can see the result here. And let's do the same stuff with a big hardness here. So yes, this is basically the kind of stuff you can have with the basic tool here. You have some multiple brush that you can set here. So here is the default brush that you could have into Photoshop, but you can as low add some new shape into it and get some more shape stuff. You can as well import some new ABR file in order to get some new stuff. You can check the link below in order to have some more brush onto the Photoshop website. You have also some multiple option here. Let's talk about a little bit about this option just to show you. I'm going to create a new layer here, and I'm gonna set up this color in white. So I use the shortcut in order to do that. I just use Control and Backspace in order to set up this color here. Or you can pick the pen bucket and the color, the foreground color here, it's black, you're gonna paint in black. If it's white, you're gonna paint in white. Okay. So let's talk about the brush. One of the most useful setting is to set up here this element that gonna say to Photoshop how many times you're gonna click, okay, into this element. So for example, if I'm here, if I'm painting holding my element, you can see that there is some tiny dots, okay. But if I'm changing this element to 1% here, you're gonna set up something like really like a line, okay. So it's really dependent of what you want to do. So you can play with this different option into this panel here. As you can see, I've downloaded some new file here. So if I'm just trying to show you what could happen with this. Yeah, as you can see, it gives you some kind of effect, or you can have as low some kind of splatter or whatever. There is something like 1,000 brush you can have into this palette, so there is actually a lot. Let's try to do something together. Let's create a new layer here. You're gonna pick the pen bucket and you're gonna select the white color here and you're gonna click here. That's gonna give you a white background. We are going to select the ellipse tool. So from the center, I'm gonna hold Alt, and I'm just gonna do a quick circle like this. You can as well hold Shift in order to have a perfect shape like this. So here is my background. So I don't want to create this shape into this layer because it's going to be more difficult to manipulate. So I'm going to create again a new layer, and here you're going to pick a color, something like an orange color. So for the color, you can pick the same settings than me, but just an orange basic color. And then you can again pick the pen bucket and click into it. So as you can see, I get an active selection. So this is why even if you click here, nothing's gonna happen, because the active selection is inside of this zone. Okay. We have seen so far in another video that you can select and invert by pressing Ctrl, Shift, and E in order to have the contrary here. Okay, so it's just a trick onto the selection. But let's go back onto the brush. So I'm pressing Ctrl Shift I in order to go back. So I've set this color here. Okay, so now if I want to set up a quick effect just onto this zone, let's admit that I'm gonna pick something more light here. You can see that it's overlap my shape here. Let's see what happens if I'm using a different trick. What you can do is into this kind of lockup, you can lock the pixel. That's allowing you to just paint into your shape. Okay, so I can go over this part. So this is really useful when you're trying to create some effect. You can go like this, for example, and try to create something like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird shape, but just to show you. Okay. So I'm gonna unlock the pixel here, and I'm gonna go back pressing Ctrl Z again, and again. Now I'm gonna use a different technique. I'm gonna use a different kind of mask. So what you can do here is creating a new layer, and say to this layer with your right click that you're gonna create a mask here. You can also have this option holding Alt, and just between the two layers here you can have this tiny arrow. It's mean that now this layer is going to be content into this layer. Okay, so let's see what could happen. I'm going to right click, pick a default brush, and I'm going to select something really bright in order to create something like a sun. Okay, so I'm going to make the size of my brush really bigger, and I'm going to pick a smoothness by holding Alt, my right click, and go to the bottom. Okay, so now if I'm clicking here, I can really pick a big brush, and from far away you can just click smoothly here, and you can see that you're gonna have from far away some kind of 3D effect into it. I can even enhance this element by holding Alt, picking this color, make it again even darker, and go from far away, and clicking here, and you can go back and forth like this in order to create your effect. Okay, so this is the kind of effect that you can do with the mask and this kind of element. You can even go like this and try to go smoother. It really depends on the kind of effect you want to give. Okay, so but this is basically what we do in digital painting and composition like this. So you can go back and forth with this kind of brush and try, for example, to set a little bit of texturing into it. Okay, so as you can see, you can grab some kind of different detail into it without any other tool. Okay, so this is mainly how you can use the brush tool. So there is no other option. Let's go on a new exercise to train ourselves with the brush tool. Hope you enjoy.